Hello guys, this is Total Drama Island Season 1 randomised cast. I hope you enjoyed the video. Season 2 aka Total Drama Action will come soon, so let's get on with it. So the beginning bit will start out as normal, like before the intros, and Chris would just say, hello, welcome to this first new reality TV show called Total Drama Island. I got amazing 16-year-olds who I think would do amazing. I love their auditions. Anyways, let's get on with the intros. Ali will come on playing a Nintendo saying, yo, with Chris throwing it in the ocean. She's saying, what was that for? And Chris said, no electronics. You could be cheating. And she's like, ugh, okay, and walks to the end of the dock, waiting for the next contestant to come. The next contestant to arrive is Tess. She comes and just like, so fuck. Then she just stands next to Ali. As Ali raves and Tess just rolls her eyes because she can't be bothered to get friendships here. And then Gret arrives, being as sassy as ever, saying she's going to take everyone down, so they might as well quit. And then Tess says, this girl is insane. And Ali goes, yep, I agree, before Gret comes to stand next to them and gives them the side eye as both of them just giggle. Then Aiden arrives and says, hi everyone, my name's Aiden. Ali goes, hi, I'm Ellie, and he goes to stand next to Ellie and thinks she's a cool person, and then Ripper arrives, being as ugly as ever. He farts and Tess goes, thump. and then Caleb arrives. Chris goes, Caleb. Everyone basically loves him. And then Alec arrives straight after, reading a book saying, yeah, whatever, I'm here. And then goes and drops all his books on Chris's feet as he goes to stand by everyone else. Then Bowie arrives. He arrives pushing the books into the water and just doing his nails. Then Heather and Izzy have their same as original. Sugar does loads of farts and she goes to stand next to Ripper and they're both high-five. Joe is action rude. Then Trent comes, basically with the same as original. Basically just a chill guy. Then you have Lindsay's intro. She has the same as original. Then the co-op with the paparazzi following her, and she takes pictures before Chris blows up the boat they're on. Then Jake arrives, just being walking and like, hi, and then just goes to stand next to Aiden, as they basically have that whole look thing with what Gwen and Trent had in the original. Then Ellie arrives, just like, oh, I'm here, whatever, and just stands next to Tess and stays quiet. Then Fiore comes, everyone infantilizes her as she says, oh, thank you, with a twitch in her eye, and she feels like putting the middle finger up, but she doesn't because she has to act. Then Courtney has the same as the original, just raves. Chris helps and she goes, thank you, and all of that. And then Jeff arrives with the party music. Everyone's just looking at him and he's like, wow, barely anyone normal. Then Nate comes and goes, hi everyone, and goes to stand next to Jeff. Then Max arrives saying he's going to take over the island and steal all the money. And Tessa's like, I'm going to need more pills. And Trent says, nice dark humour. And she just stares at him. Then Chris decides it's time to sort out the teams, right after everyone has 1 hour of socialising. The teams are Ali on the bass, Tess on the golfers, Trent on the golfers, Ellie on the bass, Max on the golfers, Courtney on the bass, Alec on the golfers, Bowie on the bass, Fiore on the bass, Izzy on the bass, Jeff on the bass, Jake on the bass, not golfers even, Joe on the golfers, Caleb on the bass, I know that sounds great, it's just a misspelling. Then Aiden is on the golfers, Heather's on the golfers, Lindsay's on the golfers, Dakota's on the bass, Gret is on the bass, Ripper's on the bass, Lake's on the bass, and Sugar's on the golfers. The first challenge, everyone is worried and child safety laws, and she says it's fine, she'll do it. And Courtney and Aiden are the only ones who don't jump, so no one gets the advantage. But I'm going to say the golfers do the better hot tub while the bass just falls apart and everyone is just shocked. But it's fine. At least no one had to carry or use the crates and the best, because Caleb just carried all of them. And Izzy carried all of hers, but Izzy was faster than Caleb. But the first elimination, Courtney pulls over Barry and says, please get someone else eliminated. To be honest, I don't want to go, before she walks away, and then puts loads of dirt on this person because they rip her because he doesn't like him. But then he was like, maybe I can form a guys alliance with these 4 imbeciles. And they all agree to join, and everyone decides that this person. But there's some votes on Fiore, but Gret is gone because she was so annoying. In the big sleep, Chris still makes everyone do the long walk around the whole camp and then have the really good dinner just to make them really tired. And Tess doesn't last as long as Gwen, but there's still time for them to bond and Tess. But it's between Joe or Bowie. Joe is just better because she wakes up really early, and that's confirmed in Revenge of the Island. So she wins it for her team. And the Grips vote out Ripper for being a super annoying teammate. Then in Dodgeball, Caleb comes up with a counter strat against the Bass, and they dominate. Everyone does basically the plan that Duncan has in the original, but Joe is able to defeat their counter strat with an anti-counter strat, what messes them up, and they lose the challenge. And everyone decides, you know what? I think that this person has to go because this didn't do good in the challenge. And that person is, sadly, the person going is, drum roll, it's Ali. I'm just gonna say she did bad. Then in Not Quite Famous, you've got a kid what does Justin's original thing, Bobby showing off his trophies, and then Courtney's violin. Then you've got Heather's ballet turned reading Tessa's diary, Trent's guitar, and Alex read books like in seconds. And the Blasters do better, and Heather gets enough votes and dirt on Sugar, then steps up for the team and says, Max is so annoying, he needs to go. So Heather gets enough votes against Sugar, so Sugar's gone. Yippee. Then in Phobia Factor, everyone has their own fears, and the only person who doesn't majorly do their fear is Courtney and some others. And Aiden actually does his fear of Chris because of Jake, and they get together at the end of the episode. But the person who is eliminated in this episode, sadly, is Max, because he was just too annoying. And in Up the Creek, basically the same thing happens, but instead of DJ pushing all the votes, it's Caleb. And Izzy still goes because of the RCMP, and she lives in the forest. Anyways, in Paintball Deer Hunt, the Bass just lose because of the golfer's strength, and Dakota gets more by a band. So she is basically also eliminated. And if you can't take the heat, the golfers lose. And I'm sorry to say, but I think a couple is going to get spilled here, because Heather gets some dirt on Trent, Aiden, Jake, and Tess, and piles it on the team. But everyone just thinks Joe needs to go. Then in Who Can You Trust, Lake is also eliminated for a really major injury, what was happened in the poison blowfish bit. And then in basic training, the Bess really do good in this challenge, and Heather still has the dirt on Trent. She reveals it, and Bowie goes to say boo-hoo, and Trent just pushes him in the water. Then the Bess lose and vote out Fiora because they find out her true side. And that makes the merge to be Tess, Ellie, Courtney, Lindsay, Aiden, Bowie, Jake, Alec, Heather, Caleb, and Jeff. And the 2 people returning the island are Ripper and Izzy. Izzy has the same return as it, but as Chris says, fan favourite, everyone's just shocked and like, oh, not him. We voted him off. But Courtney wins the challenge, and Izzy was too strong, so she is eliminated. Heather wins the challenge, basically the same as she does in the original. She intentionally kisses Jake in front of Aiden just to make them fall apart, but they don't break up. They realise what Heather's done, but Aiden is eliminated because everyone thought Heather kissed Aiden instead of Jake, but Jake revealed it at the end of the elimination. In Hide and Be Sneaky, Ellie is eliminated because of Heather's alliance with Alec and Bowie. And then in That's Off the Chain, Lindsay still has basically the same thing what happens to Cannon, and she still cusses off Heather. And then in Hook, Line and Screamer, I'm going to say that Ripper was the most scared, so he was eliminated. In Wild and Aqua Gone Wild, I'm going to say 3 people go home here because of the big cast. Because there's like 3 people be going home here. And he announces Alec was 1. But then Chris was lying. But now the Hotel Del Loser is the actual triple elimination, with Bowie, Jeff and Tess all going home in the same night. Sness, Scotch, Wow and Aqua is eliminated in that episode instead of Mr. Coconuts. Now we're there, a chef chooses to pick Courtney to be eliminated. She is shocked and wants revenge on Chef. Then basically the same thing happens to Heather and Cannon. She still goes bold. And our final is Caleb versus Jake. And let's get to the helpers, with people siding with each other. But the majority helpers go to Caleb, and Caleb is our actual winner. So in Caleb's ending, he does a backflip and wins, but in Jake's ending, he face first hits a tree and Jake wins. Total Drama Action will probably be tomorrow or next week. It depends how busy I am for the week. But I will also go over the special in action, and I hope you enjoyed this and the elimination order. I have worked hard on this. Thank you for watching again. Love you all. And this is Max Metopia Journey signing off. But quick note, all the Suspension Camp cast are 16.